This evening, first, a sanctioned businessman fights back. Nazar Mohamed slams the government for what he calls hypocrisy after officials allegedly continue doing business with his companies despite U.S. sanctions. Could this turn into a legal battle? Also, a tragic discovery. DNA results confirm that skeletal remains found on the Mabura Trail belong to a missing Venezuelan woman. Police have named the suspect and issued a wanted bulletin. Plus, crime is down, but is it enough? The Guyana Police Force reports a 12.2% drop in serious crimes and a 28% decrease in road accidents. What's behind the numbers? And a passport controversy. An opposition member of parliament blasts the inclusion of the One Guyana slogan in the country's new passports, calling it partisan branding. Is this a political overreach? Finally, chaos in Argentina. Riot police fire tear gas and rubber bullets as protesters clash with the government over sweeping austerity measures. Stay with us. Details on these stories and more are coming up next on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for March 13, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, businessman Nazar Mohamed has voiced frustration over the impact of U.S. sanctions on his family's businesses and the Ghana government's recent decision not to renew several of their business licenses. Speaking to News Source on Wednesday, Mohamed accused the government of hypocrisy, stating that officials continue to conduct business with his company even after the U.S. imposed sanctions last year. However, Vice President Barry recently declared that the government could no longer engage with the Mohameds due to the risk of violating U.S.-imposed restrictions. Mohamed insists that this stance is inconsistent, claiming that since the sanctions were announced in June of 2024, his businesses have completed 3 transactions with the government. While he declined to disclose details, he maintains that he has evidence to substantiate his claims. One of the alleged transactions involved the Maritime Administration Department, which granted a license to Hardy World, a business owned by Mohammeds, to operate in Ghana's waters. However, Marit has since decided not to renew the license, which expired in February 2025. Mohamed argues that barring his family from doing business in Guyana violates their constitutional rights. He pointed to legal advice indicating that U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control lacks jurisdiction over non-U.S. companies. In June 2024, the U.S. Treasury Department sanctioned the Mohammeds over allegations of money laundering, tax evasion, and under-declaration of gold exports. The Mohammeds denied the accusations and have since petitioned U.S. authorities to have the sanctions lifted. On Wednesday, Nazar and Azruddin Mohamed met with Alliance for Change leader Nigel Hughes and General Secretary Raphael Trotman to discuss legal matters. The meeting had sparked assumptions of a possible coalition between the Mohammeds and AFC to contest the 2025 general and regional elections. However, in a press release seen by this newscast today, the Alliance for Change stated that the meeting at the Hughes, Fields and Stobie law firm focused on legal obstacles affecting the Mohammeds' philanthropic activities. Trotman attended to provide political insights into Hughes' potential engagement with the Mohammeds. The law firm is now seeking independent legal advice on whether it can represent the sanctioned businessman. The meeting comes as Hughes positions himself as a key player in forming a coalition against the ruling People's Progressive Party ahead of the next general elections. Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken has revealed a drop in serious crime and a decline in traffic accidents for 2024. Ruth Pendleton has more on the force's latest achievement.
The Guyana Police Force has achieved a decrease of 12.2% in serious crime for 2024 when compared to 2023, with traffic accidents reducing by 28% as of March 2025 when compared to 2024. This is according to Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken during the opening of the annual Inspectors and Sergeants Conference on Wednesday at the Police Officers Mess Annex, Eve Leary.
We have achieved a decrease of 12.2% in serious crime for 2024 when compared to 2023, with traffic accidents reducing by 28% in comparatively when compared to 2024 too. We are currently enjoying a minus 42% decrease in serious crime. Give us a round of applause for that. Sergeants and inspectors, I'm telling you that because after this conference, you will take us to minus 60%, and that's your objective. Give yourself a round of applause for that. We have decentralized our policing service, such as passport applications and issuance, police clearance, certificate of fitness, and the sale of firearm. Well, there shouldn't be firearm and ammunition, it should be ammunition only. And we're going into the far-flung area because when they pay the money to come out and get firearms, or they come out to get ammunition, it's not cost beneficial. So we're setting in the ranks there to ensure that that is being done.
The conference held under the theme Enhancing Leadership and Strategic Readiness for Contemporary Policing highlighted the force's commitment to strengthen leadership capabilities and operational readiness in an evolving security landscape. Commissioner Hicken noted that under partnerships, the force signed 37 memoranda of agreement with various agencies, including the United Nations, University of Guyana, NYPD, and National Forensic Science University in India, which is expected to boost forensic capabilities, among others.
We have established district, interland, and regional intelligence committees. Additionally, we have launched Radio Ivleri and strengthened our community relation department to improve our engagement with the community and the media.
Under the performance strategic pillar, Commissioner Hicken alluded to implementing work plans to guide how the Guyana Police Force operates.
To support our ranks, we have made significant improvement in infrastructure, constructing, rehabilitating, and upgrading police stations, operational centers, and living quarters to meet international standards. With 17 Zaro Computer Center and multiple boathouses now established across the regions, our ability to serve communities effectively has been improved. This development, alongside an expanded fleet of new police outposts, position us to be more responsive and proactive.
Hicken highlighted that none of this would be possible without the middle managers, sergeants, and inspectors, since they serve as a necessary link between policy and execution. Reporting for Headline News, I am Ruth Pendleton.
Thanks, Ruth. Authorities have confirmed the skeletal remains found along the Mabura Trail in Linden belong to the missing Venezuelan woman, Miguel Centeno. The discovery was made on March 4th at 9 Miles Mabura Trail, where police recovered a personalized necklace similar to the one worn by Centeno. Her mother later identified the clothing and jewelry as her daughter's. DNA testing conducted at the Guyana Forensic Science Laboratory confirmed the identity on March 12th. A post-mortem examination revealed that Centeno died from blunt force trauma to the head, leading investigators to treat the case as a homicide. Police have issued a wanted bulletin for Brazilian national Fernando Teles Pereira in connection with the murder, which reportedly occurred on February 20th in Diamond, East Bank Demerara. Centeno, a resident of Diamond, was reported missing by her family after her sudden disappearance. Authorities are urging anyone with information on Pereira's whereabouts to contact the nearest police station. Stick around when we return. New deeds in commercial registry to open in Saudi. And Ghana advances gender equality, women's empowerment, Minister Prasad.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from modern optical services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. The Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs is criticizing the inclusion of the One Guyana slogan in the new passports, calling it political branding. Ruth Pendleton reports on her concerns.
Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Guyana, Amanza Walton Desir, has called out the government on the One Guyana political slogan in the new Guyana passport. While noting that this is a bridge too far, Desir highlighted that a passport is not a party manifesto. It is a sovereign document of our nation. It belongs to we, the people, and is issued in our name by the state. It therefore ought to be neutral and free from partisan contamination. This act, she noted, potentially flies in the face of international standards, especially those set by the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, in Document 9303, which provides strict guidelines for passport design. ICAO's emphasis on neutrality, global interoperability, and non-discriminatory practices implicitly prohibits the inclusion of partisan political messaging. The One Guyana slogan has been somewhat of a brand on stationery and clothing and has even been a sponsor for events. According to Desir, the use of state resources for political branding is a classic sign of democratic backslide and authoritarianism and blurs the line of distinction between party and state. Desir believes national identity is being displaced with party allegiance. Therefore, Desir has called on the international community to take note. Reporting for Headline News, I am Ruth Pendleton.
Thanks, Ruth. Ghana continues to make significant progress in gender equality and women's empowerment, bolstered by its strong constitutional framework, legislation, and national mechanism. Speaking at the 69th session of the Commission on the Status of Women at the United Nations headquarters in New York, Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vinay Prasad highlighted the country's achievements in advancing women's roles in leadership, policymaking, and economic development. Dr. Prasad noted that women in Ghana are leading transformative initiatives in health, economic security, climate action, and socio-economic empowerment. The Gender Affairs Bureau, a key institution under the Ministry of Human Services, has been instrumental in challenging stereotypes and promoting gender mainstreaming. The Ghana Women's Leadership Institute also provides technical and vocational training to enhance women's educational and entrepreneurial opportunities. The minister emphasized the country's commitment to gender-responsive budgeting, ensuring resources are allocated to programs that address gender disparities and combat violence against women and girls. Women currently comprise 39% of Ghana's parliament and over 50% of the judicial officers, reflecting a strong political commitment to gender parity. Ghana's strides in gender equality have earned it a ranking of 35th on the Global Gender Gap Index in 2024, recognizing its efforts in economic participation, education, health, and political empowerment. Dr. Prasad reaffirmed that these initiatives are about meeting targets and creating a society where gender equality is a lived reality, empowering women and girls to drive national development. A new Deeds and Commercial Registry Authority building will soon be commissioned in Saudi, bringing enhanced legal services to Essequibo Coast residents. Ruth Pendleton has the details on this development.
A new Deeds and Commercial Registry Authority building will soon be commissioned at Saudi along the Essequibo coast. This will allow many residents to benefit from enhanced legal services. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Mohabir Anil Nandlal highlighted that the legal services there would not differ from those offered in Georgetown.
That is the transformation that we are speaking about. All the modern services that are offered in Georgetown will now be offered in, I would dare say, better atmosphere on the Essequibo coast than is offered in Georgetown.
The registry currently operates from the ground floor of the Saudi High Court. Over 200 Walton Hall residents are expected to receive transports by March 30th, 2025.
The government of Guyana bore the cost of this entire exercise. And this is an aspect of work that the Ministry of Legal Affairs has been undertaking for several years now. And this is one of many areas that we have been working to regularize.
The new 3-story facility will feature modern amenities, including air-conditioned offices, an elevator, parking facilities, and a secure storage vault for important documents. It will also house a residential space for the authority's manager. Reporting for Headline News, I am Ruth Pendleton.
Thanks, Ruth. Don't go away after the break. UK imposes visa requirements for Trinidad and Tobago nationals, and North Sea tankers collision sparks criminal investigation.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the Caribbean, effective March 12, 2025, Trinidad and Tobago citizens must obtain a visa for short visits and transit through the United Kingdom. UK High Commissioner John Dean cited a rise in unjustified asylum claims as the reason. A 6-week transition period allows those with prior bookings and ETAs to enter without a visa until April 23, 2025. Further updates are expected as the policy takes effect. Meanwhile, in South America, Police have fired tear gas, water cannon, and rubber bullets as demonstrators in Argentina's capital, where the government's austerity measures once again sparks protests. The government has vowed to punish any lawbreakers. Al Jazeera's Daniel Schimler reports.
It's been a regular Wednesday afternoon protest outside the National Congress by pensioners angry at their diminishing pension payments and a rise in the cost of medicines. However, they've been met with an increasingly violent response by police. And when video of this man, 75-year-old Carlos, being beaten by police went viral on social media, thousands reacted.
Like every Wednesday, they attack us, they hit us, even though we're old. So now our grandchildren have had enough of that, and all the Argentinian football fans have also said enough.
Then, as now, he was wearing the shirt of his favourite football team, Chacarita Juniors. And when fans of the Buenos Aires club saw it, they responded, joining the pensioners' protest. Then this week, fans from every other club in the capital marched too, under the slogan, "We'll all be pensioners one day."
They're killing us. They've taken our medicines. They've cut our pensions by 30%. We either eat or we buy our medicine.
The police reaction is incredible, but then it's what we expect from this government, and especially the security minister. But we will keep fighting.
The government put extra security on the streets around the Congress building, promising to impose strict measures against anyone who broke the law. But clashes began early, police firing tear gas, rubber bullets and water cannons, the protesters hurling stones back at them. The battle lines have been drawn. Argentine pensioners protesting for their rights were met with a strong police reaction. Now the streets of Buenos Aires have descended to this: tear gas versus rocks, a police shield advancing on pensioners stumbling to safety. The clashes continued late into the evening. Police detained more than 100 people. Dozens on both sides were treated for injuries. The police violence has been condemned by opposition politicians in the latest demonstration by different sectors of Argentinian society against the radical economic measures being implemented by the Malay government. Daniel Schimler, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
In Central America, Panama says the U.S. has no claims to the Panama Canal after President Trump repeated his intentions to seize control of the waterway. Roughly 40% of all U.S. container traffic passes through it. Trump has accused Panama of breaching the treaty that governs the canal. Al Jazeera's Latin American editor, Lucia Newman, reports.
It's been 25 years since Panama took over the U.S.-built Panama Canal. And there was never a dispute until now.
It was given away by the Carter administration for $1, but that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
But how much of this is based on fact? Adolfo Ahumada helped negotiate the Canal Treaty.
To begin with, the canal zone was not a gift. There was never a $1 payment. It was the outcome of a historic struggle of several generations of Panamanians to recover sovereignty of a state operating within our state.
Claims that the Panama Canal Neutrality Treaty was violated because of a Chinese company leasing 2 of its ports is now a moot point, since the company has just been bought by BlackRock, a U.S. multinational. But while this has not satisfied President Donald Trump, the canal administrator remains firm.
We have not violated the terms and conditions of the Panama Canal treaties. The Chinese issue on the terminal ports is a non-issue because that is not part of the operation of the Panama Canal. That is a commercial issue and has been resolved as a commercial issue.
There is only one article in the Panama Canal treaties that gives the U.S. a direct role, and that is if the neutrality of this waterway is at risk. Neutrality is defined as the inability of all ships of all flags to be able to use this waterway. Only in that case, the United States has the responsibility to come to the aid of the canal to restore that neutrality. The government is adamant that there's no legal basis to reclaim the canal, which it insists belongs only to Panama. Former President Aristides Royo agrees.
The only way that the United States has to take back the canal is by force, not by law, no by any clause of the treaties, only by force.
The last time the U.S. used military force in Latin America was in 1989 in Panama to overthrow its then military strongman. Whether this dispute will be settled through diplomacy, pressure, or force is the question. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Panama City, Panama.
Finally, in Europe, a criminal investigation is underway after a deadly collision between a cargo ship and an oil tanker in the North Sea. The accident, which occurred on Monday, left both vessels in flames and resulted in the death of one crew member. Authorities arrested the captain of the cargo ship on suspicion of gross negligence and manslaughter. Al Jazeera's Manila Vresinovic reports.
Abandoned, the Stena Immaculate, now a shell of its former self. The fires may be extinguished, but the scars of the collision are everywhere. We circle the wreckage high above the North Sea, the lone vessel emerging from the mist.
We've just flown very close to the oil tanker, right on the edge of the exclusion zone, and when you look at it from high up above, the scale of the devastation is truly breathtaking. You can see that gaping hole where the other cargo ship, the Salon, slammed into it. You can see the charred remains where all the fires and the explosions ripped through the vessel. And what happened here is now a matter of a criminal investigation. But this remains a truly disastrous event, a collision at sea.
And these new thermal images, taken from a nearby ship, show the Salong approaching the stationary tanker and the very moment of the crash. One Salong sailor was lost at sea, and the ship's Russian captain arrested on suspicion of gross negligence manslaughter. It has emerged that the vessel failed steering safety checks last summer, but on a more recent inspection, those flaws were not raised again. Hope is now that onboard voyage data recorders, or VDRs, similar to aircraft black boxes, hold the clues to what happened.
The bridges of each ship have microphones dotted around, and the VDR will pick up what was said and what was spoken on the bridges immediately before the collision. So we will know if anybody was in fact manning the bridge on the container ship.
A maritime disaster with so many unanswered questions. Milena Veselinovic, Al Jazeera, above the North Sea.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3D weather forecast. And that's it to be 2 headline news for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other, and do have a wonderful weekend and a happy Padwa.